welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, do not forget to subscribe and click on the little bell right next to it. That way you get notified every single time that we upload a new video. So I am by myself today. Baby G and Alex left me because we are going to bake a cake. I always tell you guys that baking is something that I love doing, and baking videos are actually one of my favorites to record, whether it's here on YouTube or on Facebook Live. So I had seen this idea of a cake on Pinterest and I decided to recreate it just in a bigger cake. So the cake that I saw, I think it was like a little 2-tiered cake, but I decided to recreate it in a 3-tiered, a huge cake. So yeah, I am so excited for this video, and like all my other cakes, I always tell you guys that I do like to do things that I feel will be easy for you guys to recreate at home, but maybe not as big and like 3 stories, possibly just a smaller one for you, your family, and your kids. Also, before we get started on the cake, I do want to tell you guys this video is sponsored by Drop. So Drop is the easiest to use rewards app, and when I tell you guys easy, I mean easy. So basically, Drop is an app that will give you points that later on turn into gift cards for shopping at places that you normally already shop at. For example, everything that I used to bake this cake is from Walmart groceries, so I used the Drop app to shop for all my ingredients and earn points while doing so because I was going to buy these ingredients regardless. And to show you guys how simple it really is, you just open up your Drop app, search wherever it is you want to shop at, Uber Eats, Ulta, Walmart grocery. In my case, Walmart grocery. So I will open up Walmart grocery and at the bottom click shop now. It will take me straight into walmart.com, and now I can shop for all my groceries, aka ingredients for the cake. So now let's say you're feeling a little hungry, you're gonna order yourself some Uber Eats. You open up the Drop app, click on Uber Eats, go down to order now, and it will take you into the Uber Eats app. And now you are able to order your food as you normally would. Only difference is you are earning points, which later on turn into gift cards. You literally just tap, shop, earn, redeem. Another great thing about Drop is their stacked deals. You can take advantage of discounts while earning points under their stacked deals section in their shop. And to make this year a little better, Drop will randomly be dropping $10,000 worth of points to Drop members every Tuesday. I will leave my link down in the description so you guys can download the Drop app and use my code to get $10 worth of points, which equals 10,000 points. Those points will automatically be deposited into your account as soon as you earn 1,000 points on your own, which is super simple. For example, the Walmart grocery gives you 2,000 points every time that you shop. The offer is only available for a week, so do not forget to click the link in the description to get your 10,000 points. Do not forget to drop before you shop, and thank you so much, Drop, for sponsoring this video. Let me see the screen real quick just to see how I look. Oh, shit. Okay, now to get to the fun part, the decorating part. I actually went ahead and baked all the cakes yesterday because I feel like every time that I bake and try and decorate on the same day, something goes wrong with one of the breads. So I did go ahead and bake everything yesterday, and then obviously today they are already cooled and ready for me to start decorating. Also, I did a quick outfit change just to fit in with the black vibes of the cake. So I will be doing a 3-tier cake like I told you guys. This one will be obviously the biggest, the middle, and then the top. This is a 10-inch, 8-inch, and a 6-inch. And I do like to double stack them just so the layers are not really short. They're pretty high, about 5 to 6 inches, and then once you tear them up, stack them up, you have a pretty tall cake. So this will be, like you guys read on the title, a spiderweb cake, which I feel that if you have a Facebook or Pinterest, you have probably already seen kind of what I will be doing, but in a 3-tier. I will link down below my past baking videos. In the beginning of those videos, I do go a little bit more into detail as far as how I bake them, but as far as cake mix, I do use the box cake mix by Betty Crocker Super Moist Always. Just replace the water with the milk. And last minute, I decided to do the center with M&Ms. So we bought these little baggies of M&Ms, and I will be doing a hole in the center of all of these cakes. That way when you cut into the cake, which we will towards the end, you get an M&M explosion. All of these 5, I did get rid of the little pancita before starting the video, and then this one, I left it so I can do it with you guys. So I always like to level off my cake, especially if they're gonna be tiered. That way, at the end, I'm not left with a lopsided cake. I use something like this. You can use a knife. I just feel like a knife, it's kind of hard to level it super evenly. And this one is basically like a cake serrucho, so it is simpler to just make your cake levels all around. Okay, so I have a 16-inch board cake right here, and this one is pretty thick. Even though the biggest layer is a 10-inch, I did get this one 6 inches bigger just because I want a good amount of space left over in the corners so I can put a little bit of spiders. So as far as the ingredients for the cake, besides obviously the bread, I will be using black buttercream, spider rings, which you can get at Amazon. I bought these at my local cake store. Also some marshmallows, which will act as the spider web. And lastly, the M&Ms that I mentioned to you guys to go in the center of the cake. Okay, so I always put a turntable at the bottom of my cake. It just makes it so much easier to frost and decorate the cake. This one is from Wilton, which you can find at Amazon or your local cake store. And after all that blabbing, now to get to the decorating part of the video. Okay, so to frost the cake, I will be using this piping bag. I believe this one is a 16-inch. So after I am done decorating it, I do get to throw this away. The only thing that I wash is the tip. So this tip is what I will be using to frost the cake. It is a Wilton 789. I throw it in my piping bag, mark where I want to cut, which is about 2 inches below the tip. Cut my piping bag, and now you have your bag ready to go. I added a little bit to the board. This will act as glue on my bread, so it can stick to the board. Okay, so I'm going to cut a circle in the center of each bread. That way I can put the M&Ms in the center. And you can have a little M&M surprise every time you cut into the cake. So I'm going to use this Starbucks coffee lid as a tracer to cut the hole. I don't want something super big since I am going to tear them up. I'm still going to add the dowels, which you guys are about to see. So I think this size will be perfect. Okay, one hole down. I'm gonna put more frosting on top of this one so I can now put my second layer. And then again, cut this one. Okay, holes are done. Now I'm going to add a bag of M&Ms to the center. Okay, so now that the M&Ms are in, I'm going to frost the whole cake in black. I highly recommend it, especially if you're using black, just because it's such a messy color, for you to frost the cake like this. This has made it so much simpler, guys, for me to frost my cakes. I know in my previous one, especially the baby shower one, when I was like pregnant AF, I actually frosted the cake with just a spatula and she was exhausted towards the end. So now I use this tip with the piping bag and it just gives you an even layer. And after that, you just smooth it out and done. Okay, guys, ignore the elephant in the room. Babe, I just called you an elephant.
That's supposed to mean.
Okay, so now to frost the cake in black, my piping bag is ready. Okay, covered it up with a layer. Now this one, I'm gonna go around to smooth out the frosting. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm about to give it a couple of last swipes to try and frost it as smooth as I can get it. But the beauty of this cake is that I will be covering it almost all fully with the spiderweb marshmallow, which we will get to later on. So even if you do not leave it like perfectly smooth, it is fine because again, we are fully going to cover it. So note to myself, I'm trying to like perfect the smoothing and I'm like, it's going to be fully covered. So that's a good thing. Okay guys, one tier down. Now we have two more to go. Let me just say, black frosting is so messy. If you guys have ever worked with black, and this is like a pitch black frosting, it gets so messy. Like my hands, I don't know if you can tell through camera, are pretty dirty. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't even bother with the nails. Also, we kind of did like a quick little cleanup because when I tell you guys that this is messy, it is messy. Also, if you guys saw me licking my finger, my mouth was like all black. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna move this one out of the way and move on to my 8-inch one. So since I will be tearing this cake, I have to put my 8-inch in an 8-inch board. That way the cake is like right on the rim. So when I take out the cake and move it to the top, there's a board in the center. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Swear.
Yeah. I thought you just put the cake on top of the cake.
Swear. No.
No? Oh, okay.
No, yeah, so if this is gonna be an 8-inch, you have to buy a board 8-inch, so it is like leveled with the cake. That way when you move it, you carry the board. And then this one, I just have it here so it doesn't stain my turntable, especially because again, we're using black. So this board is actually a little bit off from the cake, like this much, and I do want it right on the rim. So before I even start frosting the cake, I will trim this very, very little. So now as you can see, it is literally the size of the bread. So I'm gonna put a little bit of frosting on the board like always, so my cake does not slide around. Pop my cake. This literally reminds me of when you're dyeing your hair black in the restroom and like your shower and everything is in black, but I swear I'm trying to be like as clean as I can, or like as careful as I can, because this is like staining everywhere. But this is as good as it's gonna get. Okay, cleaned up a little bit. Done with the second tier. I'm gonna move it out. Of course, we're still gonna stack them up and then get into the spiderweb cake. And then now to do the third one. Okay guys, after a couple of hours of frosting, we are finally done with the cakes. So now to tier them and stack them. So normally, and a lot of the times, I do use these right here, which are straws, like the smoothie straws, pretty thick straws to tier my cakes for support. But this cake is heavy, guys, because of the M&Ms and the buttercream is very heavy. I don't want to jinx it, and it is 3 tiers. So just to be on the safe side, I will be using these right here. So these are like way more sturdy to cut these. You actually have to do it like with a knife opposed to these obviously just with a scissor. So just because I want that extra support, I will be using these rods right here. So basically the way that I tier cakes, I'll start off with this one, which is the bottom layer. Normally I will put this in the center, but because right now we have M&Ms in the center, I'm actually gonna go off a little bit to the side from the center, stick this in, and then with the same frosting, I'm gonna go ahead and mark up to where I have to cut, take it out, and then I'll go ahead and cut what's left. Okay, so here I have my first one. I'm gonna put it back in just to make sure I cut it exactly where I wanted it to, which I did. So now I'll take it back out and I'll use this one to cut the rest. The reason why I use this one to cut the rest and not kind of just measure them all is because I want for them to all be exactly the same height. That way when I put this one on top of this one, you have a straight cake. Okay guys, I cut up my 4 rods the exact same height. That way, like I told you guys, the cakes can be leveled. So I'll put one back in the same spot and then throw these in. Strap these in the cake for support. Okay, ignore my messy hands. I just finished cutting up these rods, but now I will stick these on to here. So I think 3 should be enough. Okay, so now that my support system is put on the cake, I'm going to tier it, aka stack it up together, which, let me say, I have not, well no, the last one that I did, I believe, was my baby shower, which was also a 3-tiered cake for this week, as I remember. But after that, I have not stacked a cake. Okay, so now to stack it. So I'm trying to find the board, which I told you guys we cut to the same size of the bread. And then I'll slide the cake through the board onto my hand. This is heavy, like way heavier than whipped cream. And then basically, oh, I'm gonna need a ladder. Okay, I'll get the ladder right now. I think for this one will be good. 1, 2. Ah! Right here, as you guys can see, there is a little bit of bread. So I'll go ahead and cover that up right now. With this spatula, I'm kind of just gonna center the cake. I'll push the board a little bit. So now to put this one on top of that one, slide it on through the board. Oops. And then I'll go ahead and get on top of here. So I can throw this on top. 1, 2. Okay, and then I'm gonna try again and center this top cake a little bit. And we have the tiered cake. So I'm kind of debating right now, since you can't, I think the camera is catching it. You can see a little bit of the board right there and a little bit of the neon bread, which I never mentioned. The bread, as you guys, I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but I did dye the bread. I did use the white. I'll post a picture right here of the box that I use, like I always tell you guys. And then I just dye that with food coloring, gel food coloring. So I wanted something kind of like spooky colors. So I went with the neon green and the neon purple, which I will be cutting a slice at the end of the video when we finish the cake. Okay guys, I got my piping bag ready, more black frosting of course. And then this is the Wilton 12 piping tape. It's just like a very small circle, just so I can go ahead and cover like the little pieces that you see, just because I rather see black frosting than like the cardboard. So just to cover that up a little bit. Okay, I put the cake back on the turning table. That way I have, you know, space to move it around. And I'll go ahead and just fill in. Okay guys, so we went ahead and covered up the board. So now you have just a basic black cake. There is a lot of little imperfections, which do not stress about that because with the marshmallow, we'll go ahead and cover it up. It'll look messy, black, and spooky. Okay, so now for the spider webs. We'll be using marshmallow for the spider webs. Melt the marshmallow for about 10-15 seconds just for it to get very gooey. And then with the hands, it will start getting messy. I actually did this cake 2 years ago at my apartment for this because I remember. Well, it was like way smaller, but I did it at my apartment. And I actually used gloves, but I feel like I couldn't like full on play with a marshmallow. Okay guys, here is my marshmallow. I hope it comes out. The first time that I did it, like I was telling you guys, it was fairly easy. So I'm just gonna play with this a little bit. Okay, we moved the camera up a little bit, so I'm just trying to play with my marshmallow so I can add some spider web on here. Okay guys, I took up the gloves. I was trying to like practice the elasticity. Elasticity of the marshmallow. So I actually need to melt it a little bit more. And with my hands, it's so much easier to play with it and put it on the cake because on the gloves, on the gloves, se me estaba pegando like on the glove, if that makes sense. So take 2, I'm gonna melt some more marshmallow. You guys kind of get the vibe. See, this is actually what I kind of really don't want. So I'm gonna melt some more and then I'll see you guys right now. This is a little bit trickier than it looks just because it's very hot. So obviously I'm using my hands and it will make quiero que me las manos. So I'm gonna wait for it to pull off a little bit, but I still want for it to be elasticy. Okay, so basically that's kind of what I want all throughout the cake. You just have to be a little patient with this because sorry, no. Oh my god, your teeth. No, I was not eating cake. Okay. Ooh, that's looking very spooky.
I'm pretty sure you're staining your veneers.
No, not my veneers. Okay guys, we are done with the whole spider webs. It actually is a little bit more harder than it looks just because the marshmallow is sticky, and I feel like the first time that I did it, it was shorter, so I kind of just wrapped it all around en una sola seguida. And this one being taller, it was kind of hard, like trying to stretch the marshmallow from here all the way over here and like, you know, around the whole cake. But yeah, I actually really like how the whole spider web came out. I feel like at some point I'm getting a little bit of like mummy vibes. So here I have my little spiders. So these are like, you know, like the little ring spiders. I feel like you can even find these at probably Walmart right now and like the dollar store. And then I will put these all around. So in case people are confused if it's a mummy or a spider web cake, spider web cake. Since they are black, just like the cake, I'm trying to put them on top of the white just so they pop out a little bit. This looks so scary. Okay guys, and that is it for this cake. Just placed the last spider at the top, and I actually really like how it came out. It's actually freaking me out a little bit, like the whole spider webs and the spooky vibes of it. Wait, actually, before you guys go, I'm actually gonna cut this cake like I promised you guys in the beginning. So I'm gonna get rid of this little spider. Guys, this cake is the true definition of spooky and messy. Like, it is a messy cake, not just to like make, but also to even cut and eat. But I'm gonna cut down a slice on this side. Oh, right here. And I can literally feel the knife cutting into the M&Ms. And then on this side right here, so we can get some M&M center. Voila! ate this cake, do not forget to tag me on my Instagram or on my Twitter. Also, do not forget to drop before you shop. I will leave the link down below so you guys can go ahead and download the Drop app. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye. Spiders, which you can get. Scat. Also, if you are wondering, okay, stop talking. Decorate, bitch. Okay. Okay, guys. After what has been 2 hours. Okay, so here I have my 5 palitos. They are all the exact. Whoa. Okay, guys. I cut up my 4. How do you call these rods? Rods. Okay. How long has this cake taken us, bro?
Me using a cuticle cutter forever since 5 hours, 6 hours.
Me forever.